Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 31st, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see where the coldest air aloft is here. See all these popcorn cumulus clouds. I'm going to go ahead and draw it in here for you. And you can see it is in this area right here. So that's where we're expecting some thunderstorm activity today. And you can see it's trying to spread into portions of western Oregon and western Washington. So let's take a look here. We're dealing with some lightning strike activity already this morning off the southwest Oregon coast. There's a bit of a weird signal in here. I would ignore all these strikes out here, but there have been a few thunderstorms here across southwest Oregon as we speak. And you can see the spin in the atmosphere as the sun rises across the Pacific Northwest out over the ocean. That is our low pressure center there. So that's going to try to spread some thunderstorm activity back across the region. And we did have lightning activity, quite a bit of it actually, across portions of Oregon, crept into Washington a little bit here, and portions of Idaho, and this is the last 24-hour lightning strike amounts. So if we take a look here, this is where we are right now. We've got some areas reporting light rain. Looks like Newport is reporting some drizzle actually right now on the latest METAR there. And Astoria light rain checking in. Spokane light rain 43. Probably going to get some moderate rain there here in a moment. Seattle at 45. Some light rain probably approaching as we speak as well. And if you want to help support the channel, check out my new Patreon page. I'll be doing updates that I used to do on X or Blue Sky on Patreon from here on out. And if you want to support the channel, it's a good place to do so. Now, taking a look here where we've been since October 1st. Percent of average precipitation here across the Pacific Northwest. And I'll show you why percentages that do get shown in these maps can be a little bit deceiving here on the next slide. But you can see we are below normal for some of the Cascades, some of western Washington, some of western Oregon. But eastern Oregon and eastern Washington, some of Idaho are above normal here since the water year started on October 1st. But if you take a look at the total precipitation amounts, you can see even though they are above average, the areas east of the Cascades obviously do get much less due to rain shadowing effects and things of that nature. And you can see some areas across the Cascades, of course, they're getting more rainfall, but that still doesn't mean they're not below normal. And then you can see the drier amounts across western Washington and down towards some of the Portland metro as well. And same thing here with average temperature departure from average. So you can kind of see actually a fairly warm water year, let's call it, since October 1st here, as we move into the fall months here. Now we're wrapping up through March. You can see most areas actually above normal here, some below normal temperatures across the Oregon Cascades, and kind of a mixed bag for some areas. But generally speaking, a little bit of an unusual thing here for a La Nina year, a little bit warmer than probably what we expected. Average temperatures, though, you can kind of see, of course, east of the Cascades, a little bit cooler here, and the further you go north, and you can see western Oregon a little bit warmer than western Washington. So this is just average temperature, plain old average temperature. And you can see Idaho and of course Montana, some of the Rocky Mountains there, and of course Montana. When you get out to the plains, it's much colder, and across California and some of the Southwest, it's much warmer. So again, if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station to do your own weather records and whatnot, you can see my station here is reporting wind. You see the lightning detection system. There's a barometric pressure, and click on any one of those individual things and it will tell you what you've been doing here as long as you've had your station. 100th of an inch of rain today, and there's what the station looks like. Click on the link down below if you want to save 10% off on one. Winter weather hazard. So this is mainly for some of the higher terrain. You saw we had that low pressure system off the coastline. There's Crater Lake and Lakeview right there. Highway 395. Didn't look like much for Siskiyou Summit. It would be close though, because 4,500 feet is getting close to the pass level there. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind if you're going off across some of the higher terrain. Same thing for eastern Oregon and up into some portions of eastern Washington as well. Some of the Idaho Panhandle, Rocky Mountains, you guys know the drill. You can see Boise down there as well. And the Tri-Cities would be right here. Now, this is Spokane. Now, they are calling attention to some of the shower activity we're going to have Monday through Thursday, but then we start to warm things up here, and I'll show you more on that here in a moment as we go towards the upcoming weekend. We're starting to look a little bit more confident here in some nicer weather, and we're getting to that point of the year where we stop getting the really big rainstorms here. And the overall precipitation rates start to really drop off at this time of year if we head off in towards the spring months, although we still can be wet. We're still getting shower activity. It's not the big atmospheric rivers usually that we're getting into some of the fall and early winter portions of the Pacific Northwest's fall and winter seasons. So looking at spring weather spotter training, also, if you want to sign up for this, this is good stuff. Receive training from the National Weather Service, learn thunderstorms basics, and you can see virtual training classes. They have the dates here. Go ahead and check weather.gov/Spokane to, go ahead and become one of these Skywarn weather spotters. It's very fun, and you'll gain a lot of knowledge as well. Now, apparent temperature, this takes into account wind chill. You subtract 7 from that, so we're looking at about 8:15 this morning. It's about 8:30, and you can see that we are dealing with some chilly temperatures across the higher terrain. I mean, look at some of the Willamette Valley is pretty darn right cold this morning when you take wind chill into account. Some low and mid 30s showing up, some mid 40s there for Seattle. Now, if we take a look at where we are, 18,000 feet, if you've been watching the channel, you know this is a trough out here, again, kind of mid-levels of the atmosphere. And then we keep some of this troughing hanging around as we go through the midweek period. Some cooler air aloft will be with us, but you see what's downstream as we have this ridge that'll be taking over the Pacific Northwest for a few days. And that's what could be giving us some nice weather as we go through the end of the week and on in towards the weekend. But then again, you see what is out there as we have another trough. You know, it's never far off, it seems, as we go through the spring months. But there's another one out there, and we'll continue to watch to see what that one is going to do as we head off into the following week. Now, composite reflectivity, this is the Doppler radar, may look like here over the next 60 hours. Put this into motion, and you see some of these showers here, again, stronger across portions of western Oregon, just on the offshore waters there, pushing on into western Oregon as we go through the day today. Cannot rule out a lightning strike with some of this activity, even maybe up towards Seattle here, but definitely chances lessening as you go further north. You can see southeast Washington again getting clipped, eastern Oregon, Idaho, some of these could be lightning producers as well, western Montana. And this is for this afternoon, Monday, and you see the low pressure center kind of spinning and continuing to push across portions of Oregon. And we keep some of this cooler air aloft as we go on into Tuesday and Wednesday. So, you know, the showers still hanging around for western Washington, British Columbia, you know, off and on shower activity here as well. So I kind of see a convergent zone forming across some of the central sound as we go through Tuesday night, keeping those clouds around as we go into Wednesday. But once we go to Wednesday, we start to relax some of that shower activity a bit here, and then we start to gradually dry out as we go towards the end of the week. And this is day one thunderstorm outlook. You can see it just clips Portland there, but does not include Seattle. But still, I would not completely rule out a lightning strike a little bit further north. We'll see how that goes. Spokane, Pendleton, Eugene, and Medford are under the gun. Same thing with Boise, Missoula, and Butte. Now, taking a look at the day two, again, with the shower activity going on, Cascades East, Portland, Eugene, Medford included in that one as well. So eyes on the sky next couple of days. 700 millibar temperatures. This is 10,000 feet, and you can see the cold air overspreading the region as we go through the day to day. And then that kind of pulls away, but we still have this trough with us. You notice the air aloft is still fairly chilly. As we go through the day Thursday, though, finally it's kicking off, and we're going to start to dry things out a bit as we go towards the end of the week. Temperatures a lot warm up, but then if you look off to the west, you can see what is coming up next as another trough is trying to push towards Pacific Northwest. How quickly will that come in here? What kind of impacts will that have? We'll take a look at that here towards the end of the video. Now, looking at 500 millibars, you can see that cooler air aloft again. This is what we just looked at, except at 18,000 feet. And you see as we go through Thursday and Friday, that cooler air aloft pulls away, and then we wait for the next trough up there. But we're going to get some nice days in the meantime, in between those troughs, it looks like. And looking at across the entire planet, really, equatorial view of things here, about 2,500 feet. You can see, of course, the tropical regions here, the equatorial regions are warmer than the mid-latitudes and the polar regions. And if I put that into motion, you can kind of see the diurnal and the nocturnal cycle. Like, for example, across Mexico up into North America, you can see how things warm up. Same thing with South America. So this does kind of include some of the surface areas, especially for the higher terrain. But if I put that through, it almost looks like a heartbeat. You can see the polar areas are cooler, and there's this just never-ending balancing act of trying to disperse the heat that accumulates across the equatorial regions versus the colder air across the polar regions. So kind of an interesting look at things there. Now, over the next couple of days, I do want to point out that, you know, it's a little blustery out there, but it's nothing really to write home about except maybe the Oregon coast, a little bit windier down there as this low pressure center approaches as we go through the day today and tonight. And then we kind of keep that onshore flow going as we go through Thursday. A bit of a surge coming through the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Westerlies coming across the east slopes of the Cascades. Heads up for that. And then we go on in towards Wednesday here, and again, it's kind of the similar onshore flow. But as we go on in through Thursday night into Friday, we start to turn things offshore by Thursday night, and you can kind of see that. And if you look up towards Bellingham here, you can kind of see a little bit of Fraser River outflow going there. Don't worry, it's not any Arctic air or anything like that. But yeah, we're get some ridging going here and bring some nice days towards the end of the week and possibly in towards the weekend. Again, depending on how fast that next system does approach, will it get in here in time for Sunday or not? Now, looking at the high resolution rapid refresh, one more look at the thunderstorm potential today. You can see some of that does creep into Washington here. So yeah, I can't rule out a lightning strike as we go through this afternoon here. Eyes on the sky. Shouldn't be too widespread here. Definitely nothing like what we got last week. But indeed, there is that potential today. And 24-hour running totals here. So as we go through tomorrow morning, you're going to see a few inches for the Cascades of Washington, more for the Oregon Cascades, Southern Oregon Cascades down towards the Siskiyous as well. The low pressure center is closer to those locations, and that's going to keep some of that precipitation going across some of the mountains down there. We keep the onshore flow an inch or two at times for the Cascades until we start drying out as we go through Thursday and Friday, and then we get a few nice days here across the region. And if you watched the video yesterday, I talked about how we're flipping and flopping back and forth in the 15-day time frame here over the next 2 weeks. We got the precipitation anomalies showing up there, and again, kind of on the drier side here as we go through the first half of April. So better for, you know, drying out a bit here across the region. And same thing here with the European artificial intelligence, kind of bouncing back and forth again, kind of in a deficit here over the next 2 weeks, leading to some drier than normal conditions. And if we take a look at the timing on that now in the extended forecast, again, onshore flow, still some cooler air around as we go through Tuesday night. Now we're on through Wednesday, still some showers around and some clouds and whatnot. But by the time we get towards Thursday, you notice that drying trend is taking effect, and Friday should be a very nice day here across much of the region. And then we go on to Saturday, probably a very nice day yet again. And then Sunday, how much of Sunday will be dry across the area? You can see the precipitation moving in here as we go through Sunday afternoon. But again, that's looking quite a ways out in the forecast. We'll look at the timing of that later. But we keep the troughing around, a little bit of cool, unsettled conditions here, and a very modest low moves up towards Haida Gwaii. So we're not looking at any huge rainfall amounts. I mean, better up across Vancouver Island with that one there. But yeah, it's that time of year where these systems don't quite pack the same punch as they did into the portions of fall and early winter and much of winter especially. So yeah, we'll continue to watch that right now. But it becomes more of thunderstorm time here for much of the Pacific Northwest versus atmospheric rivers as you get on in towards the springtime. And of course, we can still build some snowpack though, so let's hope we continue to do so as we head off into the mid portion of April. And if we look at the 6 to 10 day as of yesterday, Climate Prediction Center showing that above normal signal there for a lot of the Pacific Northwest, and you can see the below normal signal there starting to show up as well, the 8 to 14 day above again, and a mixed bag here across Pacific Northwest. Check if before you go, avalanche.org, drought monitor here. You can kind of see Oregon is drought free, a little bit of moderate drought here across portions of Washington. And actually, I want to do one more thing here. So we're going to go to I don't believe I showed the National Blended Model, so we're going to go to that really quick here for those of you guys that stuck around, and we are going to take a look at temperature, and we're going to look at 24-hour temperature max, and we're going to back that up, and we're going to zoom in a little bit here, and we're going to take a look at today. There's tomorrow, there's Wednesday, Thursday. Start to warm up on Thursday. There's Friday. Look at that. All the way up into southwest BC, Bellingham, 58, maybe 60 degrees there, and some mid and upper 60s showing up. And of course, this is subject to change, maybe even show up a little bit warmer. But look at Saturday, next weekend. What a glorious day that would be indeed. Approaching 70 degrees west of the Cascades potentially. Sunday, again, depending on how fast that precipitation moves in, could be yet again a very nice day. So looking forward to that. There is a chance of a very nice weekend coming up. Then we go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We cool things down a little bit more. But at this time of year, you know, the sun starts to get stronger. The systems, like I said, are not as strong, and we start to warm up a bit here. So we have that going for us now. But anyway, hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.